What's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma if you're new here, and I love to talk about all things Peloton, cycling, and fitness, so be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I post every single Sunday. Today is a very exciting video because Peloton has a new cycling instructor. I feel like I've been on Peloton for a year and they brought in some new German instructors, but they haven't really brought in any English instructors, I think. So this is the first instructor that's like new to the platform while I'm on the platform. So I'm very excited to get to know him. His name is Bradley Rose. I thought about doing kind of a deep dive like I have my past two videos into his past, but there's actually not that much information about him. I think it's because since he's new, he hasn't done a lot of press yet, so we don't know a ton about him, but I can give you like a brief 1-minute summary of what we do know. Bradley was born in the UK, and it's unclear exactly what his age is, but he went to university in 2006, so that probably put him in his early 30s right now. He went to Brighton University and studied acting, and then he became a real estate agent for like a couple months, and then he moved to New York City to pursue more acting opportunities. He went to the New York Conservatory for Dramatic Arts, and then in the past 10 years he's done some acting, some modeling. He was a model for Tiffany & Co, and he was a Speedo ambassador, and then he was most recently in a Hallmark TV movie called One Royal Holiday, which is a Christmas movie, but it was released in Halloween 2020. And it's interesting that his most recent movie is pretty recent. Like, I wonder if he will keep acting while he's a Peloton instructor or if he's just giving up acting now. He was also a boxing instructor at Rumble Boxing in New York City, so he already has fitness experience. Also in January 2019, he actually had a stroke, and they found out that he had atrial septal defect and had heart surgery. I looked up what that is, and it's basically like there's a hole between the two upper chambers of your heart, and it is a birth defect, so you're born with it. And sometimes it never causes any problems for people, sometimes it does, but it seems like with the surgery he'll be fine. And that is pretty much all the information I could find about him. I'm excited to definitely get to know him more through his rides, through more press that he does, and see where he goes from here. I feel like a lot of people are talking about him. I've seen a lot of stuff on the Peloton Facebook group and the Reddit group, but I'm trying to stay away from that so I can form my own opinions. But I have heard that he's hard, which I am excited about because I do like a good hard interval. So right now it is Tuesday, March 30th, and he's released 5 rides so far, and then he's releasing 2 more later this week. So I thought I would just take all of his current 7 rides out and give you all my thoughts on them, because I have no clue what he is known for, because he's not known for anything yet. So I think that the easiest thing to start with is his 30-minute premiere ride from March 25th, 2021. The description is meet your newest instructor, Bradley, get to know him and some of his favorite tunes by joining in on his premiere ride. And it seems like it's a bunch of pop music, which I'm always a fan of, never going to complain. And I think that he'll probably reveal a lot of stuff about him in this ride, since it's like a get to know me ride. So I'm very excited to take that. And then I'm gonna follow it up with a 20-minute pop ride by Bradley from March 26th, 2021. Obviously pop music, and I think that all of these beginning rides are super important because he wants to establish who he is, so I'm very interested to see what he says. So let's just get right on into these Bradley rides. I'm excited to be taking an entire week of Bradley classes. I really liked both of those rides, and I'm very excited to take Bradley in the future. I will agree that I thought that both rides were definitely harder than the average Peloton instructor. I saw some comparisons to him to Cody Rigsby, but I don't know if that was just based on looks, because they kind of look the same, although not really, because I don't find him very much like Cody Rigsby. I think that he's way harder, and I think that Cody has a really unique personality that Bradley just has a different personality. If I had to choose someone that he was most like, I would actually choose Ben Aldis. And if you watch this channel, you know that I love Ben Aldis, so that it's not really a surprise that I like Bradley. But I don't know, let me know if you've taken Ben and if you've taken Bradley, or if you think that Bradley is like a different instructor. But I think he's more like Ben Aldis. I will say he is chatty like Cody, but they kind of tell different stories. And it's hard to tell if he's chatty because this is like the premiere ride, and the rides even after this we're still getting to know him. So he's still trying to tell you like basic things about his life during these rides. So I don't really know. It'll be interesting to see as time goes on who he kind of develops into being. It does seem like he gives less rest than other Peloton instructors. I feel like a lot of instructors will kind of let us spin out our legs for like 2 to 3 minutes during a ride after a hard section, and I feel like he kind of gets into more intervals then, which I personally like that. I also thought during his premiere ride specifically, there was a hill and it was very hard. Like I was hitting the intervals, but I was at the very bottom, and it was definitely a big push for me, which I thought was an interesting choice for the premiere ride. I feel like his speed intervals, he gives a very wide range, so it was like 30 to 50 resistance, and I feel like 30 is pretty manageable for somebody, even a beginner, while 50 is obviously very hard. But then for the hill section, I thought that even the bottom section of his intervals was still very hard. So I thought that was interesting. I definitely liked the premiere ride more than the pop ride, but honestly, I really liked both of them. And I'm very excited to continue taking classes from him and kind of see his personality shine through more. I will say that I had kind of difficulty hearing him. I felt like the music was too loud for him. And I know on the bike you can adjust that, like you can lower the music and raise the instructor's voice, but I'm not sure if you can do that on the app, so let me know if you know how to do that. I've never had that problem with any other instructor, so I thought that that was kind of weird. And especially during the premiere ride, he would just say the resistance call outs and like assume that you would keep going the previous cadence, which is not an issue if you're on the bike because it gives a little cadence range, but on the app you just have to do it from memory. So I wish that he called out cadence more, but I also feel like that could be like first couple of rides things and he'll get that feedback and then he'll start doing it more. Like I can't even imagine how nerve-wracking his premiere ride must have been. I wonder if they did pre-record it even though it was like a live ride, because he didn't shout anyone out, which makes sense just in case if something goes wrong, because he had to practice so much before that because it was very smooth. Like it's crazy to think that we're comparing him to all these instructors that literally have had over a year of doing this with him, and this is like his first time. Yes, he's had fitness instructor experience before, but this is like a completely different rodeo. So overall, I'm very excited to see where he goes from here, and I'm excited to continue taking his classes tomorrow. It is now the next day, and today is going to be a long workout. I'm going to start off with the 45-minute 2000s ride from March 29th, 2021 by Bradley. And this again is just a lot of pop music. I see Black Eyed Peas, I see some Green Day, Fall Out Boy, so we kind of got some alternative music in there too. I feel like I am kind of the target audience for Bradley at this point. I really like his music choices, and I feel like I like his hard intervals, but we'll see in a longer ride. This is the longest ride I've done by him so far. And then after the 45 minutes ride, I'm going to do a 20-minute low impact ride by Bradley from March 26th, 2021. And this again is pop music. I'm excited. I feel like I'm kind of picky about low impact rides, so I'm really interested to see what he does in this one and just see what kind of vibe he sets, because I feel like a lot of instructors make low impact rides easy, except for Jess King. So let's just get right on into these rides and I'll be back with my thoughts afterwards. I really liked both of those rides. I felt like the 45-minute 2000s rides was a little bit easier than both of the rides that I did yesterday. I thought that the ranges were really big and I was closer to the top, while yesterday I was closer to the bottom. But I will stick with my original statement that he just gives less recovery than a lot of other instructors. So I feel like with the wide ranges, you can kind of take your recovery when you need it. But for example, with the 45-minute class, we did a 20-minute work block and then had a 2-minute recovery and then did a 20-minute more work block, and there wasn't really like established recovery in that, which I personally don't mind. I think it could be hard for a beginner, but I also think that with the wide ranges you could kind of take recovery even when it's not specified as recovery. Besides that, really like the music. I think that he's funny. I honestly think that he even seems like Ben Aldis more in these rides, which no complaints for me. I think I found an instructor that I'm really gonna like in the future, but he definitely gives me that kind of vibe. In my opinion, he talks a lot, but he talks about like the music and the bike more than like personal stories. And then the low impact ride I also really liked. Honestly, I get bored during low impact rides a lot, and when I do, I go on my phone, which is super bad, but I didn't go on my phone at all during this ride. I thought that he kept it interesting. Like, we had intervals, they were just easier intervals, and it really let me spin out. I haven't done a low impact ride in a while. I should definitely do them more frequently. So I really like this ride, and I would highly recommend, if you like low impact rides, to check this ride out, because I feel like it was interesting, but it was still low impact. So far, I've really been liking Bradley. I'm excited to see his classes tomorrow, and I like that he's done all of these different classes. So he did like low impact, HIIT, 2000s ride. I think he's doing an intervals and arms later this week. So I like that I can just try out all the different classes that he has and then kind of decide what are my favorites from him. It is now Thursday, and first off, I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but my eyes are puffy because allergies are really starting to hit the Bay Area. I pretty much die between like April and June of every year here, so that's something to look forward to. It is getting really nice out. It was like 80 degrees yesterday, which is pretty uncommon for it being only like late March, early April, but with that comes allergies, so that's exciting. I'm a little stuffed up today, but I took allergy medication and hopefully that'll kick in. So today's going to be fun because I'm going to take one on-demand ride, and then it looks like I can actually join a live Bradley ride. So I'm going to start off my workout with a 20-minute HIIT ride by Bradley from March 26th, 2021. It's pop EDM music, always a fan. I think it'll be a good ride. I'm excited to take an actual intervals ride with him because I haven't taken any so far. I feel like he's done similar things every class where you do a run and then a jog and then a climb, and you just kind of do that over again. So I'm excited to see if he like mixes it up for a HIIT ride. And after that, I'm going to take the 30-minute 2010s ride from April 1st. It's live at 9 a.m. if you're on the West Coast. So I'm very excited. This fits perfectly into my schedule. It's like 8:20 now. I'm going to do a little bit of a strength workout, do the 20-minute HIIT ride, and then it should be just in time to join a live ride. So I think this should be fun. I don't do a ton of live rides. This isn't a milestone for me, so it's not like I have a hope of doing a shout out, but I'll just try something new, and it's cool that everything lines up with my schedule because usually the live rides don't. So let's just get right on into these rides. My legs are so dead after today. I thought the HIIT ride was very hard. He definitely does a lot more speed work than climbs, and I'm way better at climbing. So then that was a struggle. And then the speed work I just thought was so hard. In the beginning, it was Tabata, so 20 seconds on, 10-second recovery. And I think the range was like 40 to 50 resistance, and the pushes were 105 to 120 cadence, which that's like really hard for me, just at the bottom of that. So I was definitely struggling. And then the rest I thought was fine. The music was good. The live ride, the same thing happened to me as it did on the first day, where Bradley's voice was really quiet. I think they did fix it as the ride went on, or I just got used to it, but I think that they were like adjusting it as the ride went on because it was really, really bad in the beginning. I love the music for the live ride. It was super good 2010s pop music. If that's your jam, you will like the music. Beware that this is also a hard ride. I felt like in the live ride in particular, there was a disconnect in his intervals. I know that I am better at climbs, but I felt like his climbing intervals were super easy. Like, I was at the absolute top range of both cadence and resistance, and I felt like I could go even harder. Like, sometimes I went over his interval. And then for the speed intervals, I was at the absolute bottom. Like, I was struggling to hit even the lowest intervals. So I thought that there was sort of a disconnect there. I don't think that I'm that much stronger at climbing that I should see like that big of a disconnect, but I don't know. If you've taken the ride, let me know what you think. I definitely know that I'm gonna have to massage gun out my legs after this. All of the speed work this week has really been taking a toll on my legs, and they definitely hurt more than normal. I feel like a lot of instructors tell you to get out of the saddle after you've done speed work to kind of like grind out your legs, and I don't know, like flush out the lactic acid. I don't know if that's actually what is happening, but he never says that. So sometimes I just did it anyways because I'm like, my legs hurt so much from spinning so fast for such a long time. But definitely something to keep in mind if you're going to take from him. And then finally, I thought I'd end it on a light note. I love at the beginning of every ride, he's like clickety clack into your bike, which is like, oh, like clip into your bike. And I just think that's funny. He says that every single ride. So I like that that is going to apparently be like his catchphrase. So that was it for today. 2 good hard rides. I definitely really like the music. He is just a very hard instructor, but I've been enjoying it so far, and we'll see. I think tomorrow wraps up all of the rides that I can currently take from him. It is now the next day. It's Friday, which is always a really good feeling. So we're just gonna end the week by getting right on into it with my last Bradley ride. So it is a 30-minute intervals and arms ride from April 2nd, 2021. And it looks like it is mostly alternative music. I see Gorillaz, Wiz Khalifa, Kid Ink. I think that it will be a fun ride. I think I'll like the music a lot, and I'm excited. I feel like I am also picky with intervals and arms just because I usually feel like one sacrifices the other. Like you can't have a good intervals and arms class, but I'm willing to go in with an open mind and see what Bradley does. His intervals are usually pretty hard, so maybe this will be a very hard ride. We'll see, but let's just get right on into the last ride. I think that that was my favorite intervals and arms class I've ever done on Peloton. I thought that the intervals were still really hard. They were definitely easier than some of his other classes. I was at the top of the range most of the time, but the top of the range was definitely super hard for me, a really good workout. And then the 2 arm segments were both really short. There were 2 arm segments for 2 minutes each. And the first one was like kind of a throwaway, like we just did normal arm stuff. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. But then the second one, he did boxing, which he was a boxing instructor, so I kind of hoped that he was going to do that. So he got to like throw some punches, and it got pretty intense, and it was a lot of fun. And I'd actually love to see if he does standalone strength classes that are all boxing inspired, because I would love to take classes like that. I think that boxing is very fun. I don't have any like real experience with it, but I've always enjoyed like doing the punches with the weights and all the different things. And I think that it is a really good workout. So I really enjoyed that ride. If you only want to take one ride from him, I would still recommend the Premier ride because I feel like that gives you the best idea of like what his personality is like. But if you want a second ride, I would definitely recommend the arms and intervals. But honestly, I didn't hate any of the rides. They were all really good, and I'm looking forward to see what else he does on Peloton. I'll definitely be taking more classes by him in the future. He is a good hard instructor, and I think that Peloton did a really great job of bringing him in. So that's it for this video. Let me know if you've taken classes by Bradley Rose and what you think of him. I am curious. I'm gonna go read like what everybody says now, because I was trying not to like get an opinion from other people's opinions yet, but now I want to see what everybody is saying. I hope that they're as excited as I am. I hope you guys are staying safe, having an awesome week, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!